I heard the discussion about whether he's Lula or whether he's Chavez. I think it's somewhere in the middle. He reminds me of a Mexican politician of the 70s and 80s. He talks about self-sufficiency, a lot of distrust against U.S. multinationals, very nationalistic, very populist, left-wing. So in many ways, it's going back to the era before NAFTA in Mexico. And I don't think he's going to make the negotiations easier because a lot of what he would like to do will bump up against NAFTA. So this is not a good event here.
Some would say, though, that AMLO might want to improve the conditions of the working class by increasing wages, which would then make Mexico less competitive as a next site for a U.S. factory. Wouldn't that play into the U.S.'s hands in terms of what we want to accomplish out of NAFTA?
Well, I'm sure there'll be a lot more pressure from labor. I think that's something that will come out of an AMLO administration. I don't see wages rising so much that Mexico starts inching closer to the U.S. But there will be populist policies, more social spending. Unions will be more powerful. He may roll back energy reforms, which are a big, which would be a big problem, a real shame. He may have regulations against multinationals, go back to perhaps in some areas price controls. So we're talking about Mexico before NAFTA. Right. And it's very ironic because this is happening right in the middle of these NAFTA negotiations. He's not going to back away from his instincts. And his instincts are left-wing, populist, anti-multinational, nationalist.
Mr. Secretary, I want you to weigh in on the other news of the morning. And we talked briefly to Secretary Ross about this. He suggested, by the way, these reports were premature, but you've probably seen them, this idea effectively of ripping up the WTO or getting out of it. What do you make of that?
Well, I mean, I'm glad he clarified that it's not a done deal. You know, that would be the collapse of the world trading system. And the problem is we have nothing to replace it with. So it would be the wild, wild west. Everyone decides based on what is good for them at a given moment. And we've just taken the world back, you know, 5, 6, 7 decades. So it would be extremely unfortunate. Now, we have so many WTO, you know, demands and so many complaints that if the WTO rules against the U.S., I think that will just motivate President Trump to do something. So I just hope we can keep cool on this one. That plus the auto tariffs, I'm glad that Secretary Ross said that wasn't a done deal. The 301 with China coming on the 6th of July is big, but nothing is as big as this 232 on autos. If that goes into place, then we're going to have tremendous ripple effects throughout the economy.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.